现在 IG 相比以前就是一支队伍没有任何短板吧。
因为我们现在状态也比较稳定，我觉得我们胜率不管打谁的话都是有。
卡丁过来被打一套，直接下半血。黄金这边自己留下应激人群，老司机读秒的一个击飞，让卡丁儿不出来。要剩一个夕阳，夕阳应该也扛不住人头，再一次被黄金拿到3杀。
虽然上次我们输给了 RNG， 但是这一次我们准备很好，把你们赢下来。
我觉得到时候的决胜关键还是在胡于中，也希望在比赛的时候可以赢下对面。
我们以现在这个状态来打他们的话，小狗回来的话，我觉得我们还是有胜率。
小狗实力也应该会比他们强一点，我自己还是蛮期待跟他们两个交手的。
JK 是没有经验的 UGI， 是有经验的 JK。
刚才我们跟他们打完之后，就没有人打败过他们了嘛，还是蛮希望能把他们连胜给终结的吧。
我们现在肯定希望是把我们的连胜记录保持得越久越好。
既然上次赢过一次，这次就肯定还会再有一些赢下的。天气也变暖了嘛，所以春之虎地马上要回来了。
上次我们输给了 RNG， 打到现在的话，我们状态都比较好，我希望这一次能赢下来。
It is finally upon us. Invictus Gaming versus Royal Never Give Up. Jackie Love versus Uzi. Two of the best teams in the LPL. Two of the best teams in the world about to clash on this best of three. And you just heard, not only is the weather heating up, but so are these teams. A 13-0 win streak. As you can see, it's not all malice and hatred between the two. It's handshakes and high fives as they get ready to clash on stage. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dominic Dom Romer. Zach Rusty Pie and Indiana Frost Garen Black are joining me, and I hope my hype is not preceding me. How are you today on this wonderful spring afternoon?
Yeah, pretty sick.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just super excited. I am very excited for this set. The smack talk just got me even more amped, actually.
Yeah, it's super warm out, so I actually have to agree that Xiaohu, Little Tiger, looks like he's coming out of hibernation because it was a beautiful day in Shanghai today.
Yeah, it certainly was, and while the play earlier might not have been as beautiful as we would have hoped from our earlier teams in the sets, we have a chance to see a team that is 13-0 right now go up against Royal Never Give Up, the same Royal Never Give Up that went to semifinals in Worlds.
13-1, Dom.
Yes.
And the only loss that Invictus Gaming have was our season opener, RNG versus Invictus Gaming, which means that IG are on a 12-series streak right now.
It's real big for the team. But that said, this is a hype matchup. We can literally pick any lane. We can pick any play style. You heard in the video, they were looking at the mid-jungle duo. There's the bottom lane. There's the top lane. I'll open the floor completely to my wonderful and intelligent analysts. What would you like to talk about today? What have you brought for show and tell?
I will actually start with the mid-jungle duo, but the reason that I want to bring that up is about the early game. I actually think that the most important part about this game, what's most exciting about this, besides AD carries, I'm sure we have plenty of time to talk about that, is how the mid and jungle duo should be working in this game, because that's where IG have looked incredible, and that's where RNG could look amazing, but we haven't really seen the same spark from them just yet. And for me, I actually want to see that from RNG with that growth. They can keep up with IG, and I think it'll be a 6 set then.
Yeah, if they can keep up with Invictus Gaming. I agree with Rusty. Early game's going to matter a lot here. IG are the bloodiest team in the LPL. They have the average the most kills per minute. They also have the shortest average game time. So there's no way in hell that any team is ever taking them to a late game. So if you want to keep up with Invictus Gaming, if you want to even look competitive, you have to hit hard in early game.
They average 1 kill every 2 minutes. So that's how bloodthirsty they are at the moment. And with a 31-minute game time, that is very impressive.
So then that said, who are we looking at to instigate this action? Is it Rookie today? Is it going to be Ning? Is it going to be the Shy?
I actually think the first person that you have to look at is Karsa. We said when push comes to shove that this wasn't going to be a rotating double threat roster between MLXG and Karsa. Someone was going to reign supreme and take the starting position, and right now it is the former Flash Wolves, king of the jungle in Karsa, and he's starting in the big match, and it's up to him to slow down Rookie and Ning and set up Xiaohu.
Which is actually super curious, because earlier in the week when RNG played, they were using MLXG, and we've seen a little bit more of MLXG here and there, and it started to make me wonder, because because he looked like he had decent form, but the same inconsistencies from MLXG still existed. He would get a lead, he'd manage to throw the lead away, unfortunately, and at the same time, I think what Karsa can provide is a consistent lead, and you can't afford to make mistakes against IG, so I do like Karsa here and the importance that he has.
And expanding on that context a little bit, they've also put MLXG and Let Me back into the lineup when they did have bigger matches. You look back to EDG, it wasn't MLXG, but it was going back to Let Me, playing closer to that 1-3-1 2017 summer style, because again, we know that RNG can do that. So if you look at the route and our path to this moment, RNG basically took like a nosedive in the front of the LPL. We're sitting around 6th, 5th place, and slowly have been climbing their way back up into 3rd. And a lot of that has been on relying on the old tricks that we already know that this team can play. They haven't revolutionized themselves yet.
That said, you contrast that with the likes of Invictus Gaming. They have just been upward trajectory since they've come into the 2018 spring, carrying through the top, carrying through the jungle, carrying through the mid, carrying through the bottom. Initially, we thought it might be a Jackie Love-centric team for them, but really anyone on the team is just a killer threat.
The ability of IG to be able to carry from every single lane is what makes them one of the biggest threats in the league right now, and it means it's very hard to play against. So let's just, again, the context of this set, they're against RNG with a fairly predictable style of wanting to carry through the AD carry and Uzi.
Yes.
IG can choose to then focus Uzi's lane and empower Jackie Love, take the 2v2, or they can just lose the 2v2 or just go down quietly, win top lane at the same time and trade across the map depending on what they think they need.
Yeah, frankly, if you're going to attack RNG anywhere, especially with Invictus Gaming, I think you do it on the top side of the map. I think you throw every single resource you've got at the Shy, because RNG have shown that they have no idea who their strongest top laner is. Zatai is starting today, but again, in the other big matches, it has been Let Me. They go back to that 1-3-1 style. I think you can exploit that synergy.
It is quite a statement for IG if you're asking Jackie Love to lose gracefully, one of the most hot-blooded killer AD carries in the league, looking across from one of the best AD carries in the world.
And that is very exciting for me when you look at the AD carry matchup, of course. Just knowing how much they want to hit each other and how aggressive they both are, but one of them has to lose, right? And how do they do it?
We're going to find out with our lineups. We've got the Shy, Ning, Rookie, Jackie Love, and Baolan for IG.
And if you haven't been paying attention to Invictus Gaming, get ready to get used to the name Jackie Love. He is the next big deal in ADC position. Baby Uzi, he's taking on the real deal.
He's been hyped for a very long time, and it's nice to finally see him as we can go through RNG's roster as Zatai, Karsa, Xiaohu, Uzi, and Ming.
You would be stressed to find more star talent packed on one roster than this one. The legacy names, the combined years of experience, this team has it all, but it isn't translating to the rift and the dominance that we need.
That said, we're going to be looking a lot towards those early game. As you can see, first in the league in win rate, first in gold per minute, first in average win time. Invictus Gaming is not a team that wants to sit and go late. They will beat you in every single lane, and they will do it fast.
And you can see first and third for average win time between IG and RNG as well. The thing that I'm going to be looking towards is if they retain time similar to this, or now that the two Goliaths face each other, do they slow the pace of the game down and try and be more calm and measured?
And see, the thing is even if IG, like, we don't have any tape that tells us that they can't play an early or a late game, just that they don't need to play a late game. Because the thing is they have an insurance policy in the ADC. We know that Jackie Love likes to play the hyper carries. He has shown that. So if it does go late game, there's no reason that Invictus Gaming still wouldn't be able to flex.
Well, we've actually got a little bit of more information on those AD carries for you to just compare their playstyles down in that bottom lane. Because again, Uzi, he has the highest CS differential in the league at 15.
But I want to show you some really interesting stats here. Take a look at damage percentage and then damage per minute for Jackie Love. He does the lowest damage percentage of his team. Again, that showcases why Invictus Gaming are so strong. He doesn't need to be the big damage for his team. Uzi's second for that share. Rookie can take over, Ning can take over the Shy, but that doesn't mean he's not doing damage. Damage per minute, first in the league. That tells you everything you need to know about IG and Jackie Love.
And the damage to gold efficiency as well adds to that only further. The fact that he may get less gold than other AD carries, but he still has the most efficient damage output as a result of even getting less gold. I credit a lot of that to Baolan, to be fair, in the way they're able to play the 2v2. It's not so much like the babysit with the Uzi approach, but it's still very effective.
That being said, it's almost time for us to get into match. Before we go, though, I have to get your predictions. Is it going to be IG or RNG? Is it going to be Uzi or Jackie Love?
I am so confident.
Yeah,
Go on,
please.
get in there.
Yes.
I am so confident in Invictus Gaming. I think RNG are going home in a body bag. I think they're about to get slaughtered on the Rift right now.
Savage.
I'm the same. I actually have Invictus Gaming as well, but I wasn't going to say a body bag. I feel like that's rather extreme. That's a lot of body bags. I don't think they have that many with them. I do think that it should be a 2-0 for IG. I just think they've got more comprehensive win conditions available. And if RNG's strength is the early game, IG are the early game team in our league right now. And it feels like they're trying to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, we're certainly about to find out. It's time for us to get into this game number 1 of our match of the week. Our casters are ready, but first, let's hear from Rookie on his thoughts on the matchup.
也可以很简单能形容出来，阿水就是 J.K. Love 是没有经验的 UGI 是有经验的 J.K. Love， 但是新的选手特别大的优点就是不怕。虽然上次我们输给了 RNG， 但是这一次我们准备很好。 把你们赢下来。
Rookie saying they'll be fully prepared coming into this matchup, and I hope so, because RNG did take that first matchup. However, my name is Pulse, this guy is Raz, and we're about to get onto the Rift for this one. And Raz, do you think that RNG are going to go home in body bags, or are they just going to be politely escorted from the premises?
Oh my god, a body bag. I'm not even going to touch that. That one's a hot one. I'm going to let the game speak for itself.
Exactly, because we really need to get into it right now when we look at these two teams, because Invictus Gaming, they go very fast and very hard, but at the same time, so do RNG. They're very much early game focused around these lanes, win lane, win game. This is one of the memes that's definitely corrupt up in the Chinese community just because of the shenanigans that happen on the stream.
There's a lot of love.
Don't ever leave me again, Raz.
There's a lot of love here. He's going to have to leave him because he's got Karsa by his side now. And that's what, I mean, Zach talked about it on the desk. Rusty did talk about the mid lane jungler synergy because sure, there was a lot of love between Xiaohu and MLXG. But when Karsa came by, I felt like their connection was a lot stronger. I felt like he was moving a lot with Karsa, moving to Raptors quite frequently. It didn't matter what the matchup was. So early game is important, and it does start in the mid lane and how you're able to utilize that mid lane push.
Exactly how does it work around the mid lane, Raz? Because it is Xiaohu taking on Rookie, and not many people leave the mid lane alive after facing down Rookie, but Xiaohu, definitely one of the strongest mid laners in the league.
To answer that, I'll say Ryze is a big priority. Sure, it's been a big love for Xiaohu time and time again, but it's just really good in the meta currently. We have a lot of tier build mid laners, and sure, Ryze fits that mold by being a tier build mid laner, but he also just goes in towards a Catalyst as well. And once he gets his Catalyst into an Abyssal Mask, or if he just decides he needs more damage and goes into Rod of Ages, he takes over matchups, unless if it's just like a resolved mid laner. So a lot of this comes down in mid lane push, and I really do wonder if Rookie's going to pick up the pick himself, or if he just bans it out.
And what's exciting about this matchup is are so many ways for the teams to play around in this matchup that the priorities can be entirely different going from game 1 to game 2. But we do have the bans. Invictus Gaming will be taking away the Galio, Sion, and Swain. Definitely become one of the strongest picks currently in the LPL, matched by Varus, Zaya, and Sejuani.
You gotta wonder what Invictus Gaming want to pick for themselves as first pick. It's very odd to see first pick decide to ban out both Sion and Swain. Swain is a great blue side first pick, just so you can then flex it between both mid and top lane.
Invictus Gaming actually prioritizing a jungler here, taking up the Olaf for Ning right here, so not looking towards the solo laners just yet.
Okay, starting right off in the jungle. Olaf is great in the sense that you could create a fast clear time for yourself. You could even start on Raptors, get yourself an early start, just kind of messing up the jungle's timing on where you are currently starting on. So I want to see what RNG pick up for themselves. Karsa's been a great Skarner player, so he might pick it up for himself here to answer him out.
Well, we just got the answer to your question. You just asked who's going to be picking up the Ryze. Well, it goes over to Xiaohu right here with that first pick. There's a hover over Kaiser, and while we've seen it a couple times already in the LPL, coming into the bottom lane from SMLZ and also Chelly, it is 8.5 Kaiser, and those were games where you were looking to style on your opponent, so probably not going to see it until the 8.6 patch hits. However, Kha'Zix will be locked in for Karsa.
Yeah, Kha'Zix, the one we should take seriously is the fact that it shows RNG is all-inning on their early game, specifically the mid lane. There was a lot of discussion about mid lane jungle synergy, and the fact that you now have the Rune Prison setting up for, of course, Kha'Zix coming in with a jump in, that is a strong gank potential, strong 2v2. You do have to wonder, just because Kha'Zix does have a slower clear, if he can match the Olaf here.
On the opposite side, Invictus Gaming will lock in their bottom lane right here for Battleland. It will be the Braum pickup now. And Invictus Gaming, will they look towards the AD carry as well instead of looking for a solo laner?
I think they should. I'm wondering about either Caitlyn. I guess Kog'Maw is going to be the go-to pick, but it forces RNG to pick out a mid laner, an AD carry themselves. If they don't, then immediately IG are going to start banning out the Caitlyn, perhaps, going into another pick as well. Just because Varus and Xayah got banned out by RNG, it's going to pinch Uzi's pool. He has to start here.
Exactly, RNG have already done the legwork for IG unless they pick the AD carry right now for Uzi in the bottom lane. 5 seconds left. They're actually thinking, they're actually maybe going towards the Tam Kench and give some protection to the AD carry because we know Uzi can play pretty much everything under the sun.
And this is when we start really speculating on what Uzi wants to pick for himself, because he's saying that it doesn't matter what you end up banning here. I have a pick I can go towards. And we've seen fringe picks go up against the Kog'Maw. We've seen the Vayne. Uzi's gone towards Vayne in the past. And honestly, Karsa was hovering over Kai'Sa. That might be the pick as well. So I want to see, especially since Tahm Kench allows those lanes to have an even laning phase. A lot of protection down there.
100%. Varus has been taken away though. Definitely a pick that Uzi has been picking alongside the Tahm Kench, but Talia will be banned away from Rookie right here. And Invictus Gaming, of course, going to start banning some of those AD carries away, specifically the ones they just don't want to play against in the hands of Rookie.
Yeah, and you know what? Caitlyn is a no-brainer. I do wonder where IG ban next. Jhin is a good answer, but Uzi is not a Jhin player at all. So I'm not expecting Uzi to pick up the Jhin himself, even though there's a lot of lockdown on the side of RNG, and adding that extra bit of lockdown makes it a lot of better. Yeah, Tristana makes a lot of sense there. So the hyper carries being nixed out of the pick.
Yeah, obviously misspoken. And Uzi for the AD carry role. Rookie is definitely not an ADC. RNG will ban away the Orianna though towards Rookie in the mid lane, so taking away some of his power picks, but Rookie still has a bunch he can bring into that middle lane. RNG now, we'll see if they pick up their AD carry here or choose to put it last.
Yeah, it's either that or their top laner. They can still show Ryze to be their top. Ezreal's a safe one, almost forgot about it. That's the Uzi special where he goes for poke within the lane. Tahm Kench has a bit of poke himself with his Q, so you can look to kind of pressure down the Kog'Maw early on before he gets his own Quincy's.
What's interesting is Uzi pretty much picks the Ezreal into almost every single matchup and is one of the only people in the LPL who can actually make it work. Just because of the pure mechanical skill we've seen come out of Uzi so far in this split. Invictus Gaming have to lock in the mid lane. They have to lock in the top lane here. The mid lane will be the Cassiopeia.
This is special here, just because they are respecting that Zatai can pick up the Ryze himself. He's done it in the past. So now, of course, Cassio's the potential mid lane counter. And if you are the Shy, you're like, what is good against Ryze again? Maybe Jace, perhaps Jace. So he could just go towards, oh, actually,
left turn,
playing it safe.
We'll go towards the Ornn here in the end for the Shy in the top lane. Actually moves towards the tank, and this is definitely a rare exception. If you haven't been watching the LPL all split, Invictus Gaming very much like to give the Shy some carries, some bruises in the top lane, more often than not over the tank. So picking up the Ornn here, looking to play towards the team. The emphasis going to be on JackeyLove and Rookie.
Yeah, in fact, we'll talk about this as the game goes on, but the last time we saw both of these teams play, it was Duke in the top lane, and he picked up Ornn himself. It was IG playing away from team fights because they found out that they were much better players in lanes and they weren't as strong as these other teams when it came to just outright team fighting. This is going to be a good test for Invictus Gaming if they can match RNG in that case.
And at the same time, RNG will lock in the Gangplank, seeing the Ornn in the top lane, saying, well, Zatai, you can go up there, you can probably farm against this pick, and then we'll see you in the mid game. We'll see you after you've farmed up. Hopefully, we aren't going to see the same type of Gangplank shenanigans we saw in the last set, Raz, because that was a little bit ridiculous with a 6,000 goal lead over just his lane opponent.
Yeah, you know, Flandre can show you what you can do if you have a little bit of talent with the pick. And I know that Zatai, a very talented player. I say player because it doesn't matter what lane he's in, mid lane or top lane. He can make it work. I like what RNG is doing, immediately putting the carry pants on in the top lane. A lot of wonder, a lot of worry for teams who go up against Invictus Gaming is if their top lane can take the hurt. But Invictus Gaming now have to worry about Zatai in the first game.
And the Shy will have to be the one in the top lane to try and contain him. We'll see how the synergy is with Name, because we have seen it to be very strong so far in the 2 versus 2. Try and shut down that Gangplank, and of course look to their other lanes, because Cassiopeia will have the preferential matchup into the Ryze, and in the bottom lane as well, priority pick on the Kog'Maw.
This is what's so fun about these two teams playing up against each other. Feels like Invictus Gaming and RNG are always gifted these picks, gifted the early games whenever they go up against teams in the Eastern Western Conference. Yeah. This time around, both teams playing up against each other have the ability and really want to have good laning phases, so they have to trade. You're going to have to go up against the counter pick. So it's now RNG that's saying, you know what, we're going to lose out in the mid lane. We're going to have tough times going up against the Cassiopeia. We're going to have to play around a loss in that lane and hopefully now amplify these side lanes to work for our case. And the same thing goes for Invictus Gaming, where the top lane is not a winning lane any longer.
Well, definitely going to be a grudge match for Invictus Gaming. The only blemish on their record is RNG at the start of the split. We'll see if they can take it, because 2 immovable objects in the early game. Who's going to reign supreme? All right, hang on. Of course, we've got the Uzi chance coming out as well. We have so many superstars in this game where people are just happy to see them. Happy to see Uzi, happy to see Xiaohu, Rookie even on IG.
Oh, hell yeah. And you know what? Every player on the stage right now deserves their own chance. They deserve it. Every single one of them putting out some carry performances throughout the entire split. Ming comes to mind. Love him just because the last time both these teams came through in week 1, he had a highlight reel on the Alistar. Not going to have it this time around, but it just goes to show that every one of these players on the side of RNG and Invictus Gaming can have their day.
Oh yeah, everyone's had a huge amount of growth over the split into this point. We saw some of the keystones. Zatai going to be taking Grasp of the Undying in the top lane here as the gangplank, because he is actually able to get some value out of that one over the Kleptomancy, because obviously it's a melee matchup, so he can actually walk up, hit the minions, and also get the parlay to proc the Grasp of the Undying.
Yeah, this is a sad meta for GP, I'm not going to lie, just because he doesn't get the bandit procs. No longer any bandits in terms of the support items, so it's now him just going up into the lane, saying, you know what? Screw that. I'm just going to focus on the lane itself. I'm going to focus on the trading patterns that I have rather than just creating amount of free gold for myself. So no Kleptomancy, that's the biggest change. And of course, no support items coming through as well.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we can see Rise Summoners as well, going for the Resolve second, picking up Bone Plating, looking specifically towards these trades. Going to be great, actually, in the survival matchup that he has up against Rookie right here.
And you can do no wrong when you have Resolve secondary tree. Mud laners right now, Resolve primary, Resolve secondary, doesn't matter. It's just so hard to push you out, especially because of Bone Plating and Second Wind. You can get both of them if you want to, and it doesn't matter if you have a losing matchup in terms of trade, just because you get such reduced damage and return HP.
This is really interesting stats here from Xiaohu. Kills and assists up after Uzi's return at 15. Damage percentage down because you have multiple ways now to play in your composition. You can play towards Uzi, play towards Xiaohu, maybe even look towards the Zatai as well. So it means that he doesn't need to be doing all the damage every single game.
It feels good for Xiaohu, just the fact that he can rely on another lane to do just that. It's the similar feeling between both Rookie and Xiaohu. Both of them, they've had their time where they were the sole carries of their team, and it's now both of them saying, I could take a step back, sure I can have my carry performances, or I can just play towards the bottom side of the map.
And Invictus Gaming, you can definitely say they are one of the most dominant teams since EDG in 2016. You saw the 18 winning streak coming out from EDG. We'll see if IG can match or surpass that one. They do have the chance here. Meanwhile, the top lanes are tight, taking a bunch of damage out from this Ornn matchup, and Ning lying in wait, seeing if he can get this gank down.
Yeah, this is big. In fact, Ning decided not to come in just for an axe toss, just because he values the fact that he's in Fog of War. Just because of that, Zatai took a lot of free trading, so he's in dive range. And Kha'Zix's base, so this is going to be rough.
He is. Great ward, however, out from Zatai. He kind of sniffs this one coming, knows he's low, knows that the Shy can maybe dive, and Ning is being extremely patient, now deciding to back away, not give his position, though he has just been spotted out on the ward. So Zatai knows the gig is up.
Yeah, there we go. It's fun to see that kind of experience coming out of the top laner. Against half the lineup of the LPL, you'd see that dive work out. He's going to force it, though.
He is. He's wrapped all around the backside. The Shy is going to be the first one to stank up this tower. Ning coming in from behind as well, looking for the undertow. There's one last tower shot. And Shy, he managed to survive, but Ning actually goes through the tower. And because the Zatai traded autos, that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. I believe Ning autoed the turret to start with. So it comes down to execution on that dive. It's usually that difficult, especially with the HP in which Zatai healed back up with. So you're going to have to trade if you didn't play it perfectly. They didn't play it perfectly, so down goes Ning.
On the bright side, there was no return kill coming out from Caster as well to make that a 2-for-1, as the Shy managed to creep through vision, and at the same time they also managed to get an assist into top lane. However, Ning was the one to pick up the kill.
Yeah, and still ultimately that kind of lead, and that being said, Rookie has to peace out.
Yeah, Instinct Cleanse coming out there, realizes that if Xiaohu gets the full duration on that Rune Prison, he's probably going to die to Caster coming in there as well with the isolation damage.
You got to protect yourself. I love what Xiaohu's doing in the mid lane. He was able to keep the wave just under his tower, but the tower not being able to aggro on with the creep. So it gives him the safetiness to farm and to walk up for ganks. So right now, if you're a Rookie, you're probably calling on Ning to just escort you a little bit. They have good wards in the bottom side of mid lane, but they need his pressure so Cassio can at least farm properly and continue to trade underneath Xiaohu.
We've had a lot of focus on the top side of the map because of where the action has been, but of course we have to talk about the bottom lane as well, because Uzi and Ming versus JackeyLove and Baolan. Feels like JackeyLove, this is the final member on Uzi's hit list as he has gone through the LPL dumpstering bottom lanes, but he didn't get the chance at the start of Split. He wasn't playing, so this time he'll actually get to meet JackeyLove.
Yeah, I got to play up against both Abel and Y4. Beauty about that is he had proper lane up against both of them. if I remember correctly, Abel pulled out the Vayne and was underneath his turret at all times. So it's a different environment. Jackie Love has competition here in the pick ban and in the, of course, the player Uzi, who's going to contest him at every CS.
We're looking at the junglers right now. Ning is tracking Karsa through his jungle. Has the level 5 over the level 4 as well. And Karsa just wants to get up to the top side. His lanes are currently pushed in. So Ning, he knows he can do this. Just being annoying, knocking Karsa over the wall with his blast cone and continuing to harass.
Here we go.
Here comes the Ornhorn. The slow comes down and the knock-up as well. Ning looking to connect the undertow. Actually closing from around the side. Flash comes in from Karsa. Flash out from the Shy. And he will be out of this one.
Gotta wonder what Ning was doing. At first I didn't think he had flash because he could have just flashed in for the damage. It would have been a good follow-up with the Shy as well. Doesn't come through, but still, the setup was proper. He knew Rookie and the Shy had shove in lane and that he can just sit inside Karsa's jungle, who was at a level disadvantage to him. So if he started Krugs, he was going to be there watching.
There was definitely the assumption that Karsa was going to go back to his inner turret there, so they were going to try and collapse from 2 angles, but Karsa just realized, well, there's a turret right next to me, so I'll go to this one instead. And in the end, gets around Ning's aggression. Meanwhile, Karsa recalls, goes back to the bottom lane now, tries to establish control around this bottom side.
And here's the beautiful thing about this, because Karsa did the right thing, immediately going bottom side of the map to look for a proper gank, because Ezreal and Tahm Kench are getting pushed in. But the thing with Invictus Gaming, you go up against them and you realize that their vision control is incredibly strong. Strong, proper wards in the bottom side river to catch him coming down. He was able to get away from the first ward. I guess he's playing tricky enough. Looking right behind him.
Just pushes into the jungle, sees Ning, who has level 6 versus Karsa's level 5. Stops the recall, jumps over the wall. I'm actually not sure.
No,
okay, yeah, pings came out, so Ning definitely saw Karsa jump over the wall there. Both mid laners reacting down just in case it turned into a skirmish. And Ning gets control of the river once more, has his level 6 on the Olaf.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Karsa. Every venture he's going for, that bottom lane gank was a good idea, but he's getting caught at every angle. Good counter, I would say counter gank, but he wasn't even looking, he wasn't able to get the gank to begin with. It's just good positioning from Ning to cancel out every pressure Karsa's looking for. And he's playing the Kha'Zix too, so he needs to get these ganks rolling for himself, but now he's in an experienced CS disadvantage. Just going really poorly for him.
Trying to play catch-up. Meanwhile, the side lane is right now down in farm in the top lane, down in farm in the bottom lane as well. And Invictus Gaming so far, the MO in the LPL has been win lane, get the strong laners, push it into mid-game. By then, we probably have a big advantage, move into those skirmishes, and then try and close it out. And that's very much shown by their game time so far in the LPL, 31 minutes, and first in the league.
That's why you can't rest. That's why you always have to be on the map and ready to defend these plays from happening. Ning is set up for another dive in the top lane. Karsa has to be ready.
Constant Fog of War has been seen out by Ning, comes out, managed to get the last auto attack down to 1 health on that buff. Karsa will take another axe as he walks away, and Ning all over his jungle.
Yeah, this is important. He was able to push him away from his top lane. There's no way for Karsa to ever go top to defend this tower. Zatai recognizes this and backs away entirely. Sure, that's a smart decision from Zatai, but it's an unavoidable truth that he's losing a lot of experience, minions underneath the wave.
It's definitely refreshing to see a team properly utilize the pressure that they have in the mid lane and top lane right here. Ning looking towards the mid lane now. Xiaohu pushed towards the turret. Ming comes in from the bottom lane, trying to assist Xiaohu with this one.
This is just full defense on the side of RNG. I mean, like, what can you do? Quite honestly, it's because Ning is all up in your face, but it's smart from them to bide their time and wait for a mistake from Invictus Gaming. I'm specifically looking at, I would say, mid lane. Right now, the Ryze is doing well for himself, and he needs to be defended. There's an opportunity for that gank to work, or at least a 2v2 to work in their end. Comes down to the execution. They can take down Olaf. He's still squishy.
He's right behind Xiaohu in the mid lane as well. Connects the first axe, and he's activated the Ragnarok. He wants to go all in. He takes down Xiaohu. Rookie under attack from Karsa, and Zatai in from the top lane. Ornhorn comes through. That's another 2 kills going down. Ning flashes over the wall, and the Shy, he's located. What? In the bottom lane. That was a 2v2 kill.
There's a lot of action happening here. I just want to start in the... Unless if Uzi gets dive. Actually,
they're looking for a bow down with the heal, getting the speed of flash forwards. Flash return from Uzi, getting out that Winter's Bite.
All right, this is when we got to rewind it just a little bit. Talk about the mid lane a little, because that was to be expected on the side of Karsa. Karsa needed to be mid lane to look for a counter gank, and he did. It was a little too late. He didn't expect Ning to be looking for it that quickly. It seemed like Ryze was close enough to his own tower, but the problem is Rookie still had flash. Yeah. So the extra damage was going to come down. He was going to be able to follow up. We're looking at the bottom side of the map to see how Ming got caught out. And it's the usual. If you get caught out by the Braum passive and you get run down, That was the exact timing the shield ran out too.
That feels bad, man. Ning flashed away as well, literally the last second. He'll drop in the bottom lane. Unfortunate for sure, but a kill going up to JackeyLove this early going to be great for that Cogmore, extending him and pushing him towards this early Guinsoo's Rage Blade in the bottom lane.
This goes to show that the early focus that we were looking towards the bottom side, the poke idea to set JackeyLove behind before he even gets to that Guinsoo. Sure, he hasn't had it completed yet, but it's already mission failed. You're well and truly behind, 10 CS behind in the matchup. Assuming that Ezreal can actually pick up the wave that's crashing underneath his own turret. And he's about to pick up the strongest item for himself. So JackeyLove is well ahead of the pace here.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, the pressure from Ning means that the Shy can step up, get the most of that demolish. Meanwhile, Rookie 2 versus 2 pushing into the jungle. Wards come down. They see Karsa. He has to back away. Another contest now onto this Raptor camp. Ning will get all of it. And Xiaohu will have to escort Karsa down to the bottom side of the jungle now to really just eat the rest of the scraps in his jungle. Ning just still waiting in his top side.
And this is why we don't see Kha'Zix, honestly. We see it a few times, but only later on in the draft when you recognize what enemy jungler you're going up against. If it's a Jarvan, if it's a Sejuani, something that you can get some breath on. You can look for ganks.
Ornhorn comes in, Ning from behind as well. Get the slowdown. Predator comes through. Axes are following. Karsa arrives into the play. There's lots of damage in return onto Ning.
Run.
Flashes away. Karsa with the follow, but he's not quite in range. I looked up for the juke, but Karsa too fast on the trigger finger. It will be a 1-for-1.
I mean, Karsa's there, like he's at least there to respond, but he can't do anything other than that. IG are still getting holistic advantages. I mean, Xiaohu's here just to pick up the wave. I don't know. I feel like he can't protect this tower.
Well, he's cleared out the minions, and now it has backdoor protection, so this is going to be a little bit annoying now for the Shy, especially because he's tanking tower aggro. Xiaohu may look for the chase down now, and there's also the Gangplank ultimate in from base, raining down, covering fire, but Xiaohu is slowed down by the Shy. Can he catch up? He doesn't have the flash, he's out of mana, and the Shy gets away.
That's just sad days, but at least they protected the tower. I said he couldn't do it. 44 HP. That's going to hold on for a little bit longer.
That was so sad for the Shy. He was CC'd just outside of auto attack range, so he couldn't hit the tower. In the end, Xiaohu pushed him away from that one, but that is literally just a breath. Someone could blow on that one and it would fall over. Meanwhile, RNG looking towards the vision control once again. And I actually do want to draw some attention to the vision game so far because we just had so much action in the early game. It's been difficult to talk about it, but Ning has done a fantastic job of sneaking around a lot of the defensive vision that RNG has placed down so far, and there's been a lot of it.
Yeah, there has been quite a few. The issue is that I'm just surprised that they're able to get the wards down with how much they're getting pushed off. That's why Ning is not making the extra effort of checking these bushes. That being said, doesn't matter if you're seen in these wards, just because of how quick Ning is and how focused he is on the next objectives. Essentially calling out to the enemy team, yeah, sure, I'm making my way towards the bottom lane. What can you do about it?
Looking towards Xiaohu, he's thinking about a round warp into top lane, but he doesn't have it right now, so he's going to have to take the long route, the scenic route into top lane, look for the 2 versus 1 as the Shy is continuing to chase after Satai in this one. This will be a long run back to the tower, but he does have the teleport coming in from Baolan actually in the bottom lane. This will turn into a 2 versus 2. Ornhorn coming through, gets knocked up to Xiaohu, a 2 versus 1 now as the Shy has completely abandoned his mid laner, now walks back into the play, but Xiaohu is almost dead. Double knockout out from the Shy, and Rookie is zoning away any support. Xiaohu, he's backing up through the top lane. There's a warding kind of barrel there from Zatai, but now he's under attack from the Shy and Baolan. They'll get the slowdown, looking for the concussive blows, but the Shy is low himself. Baolan will get the kill. The Shy will not fall. Yes, he will on the end of the tower shot. Meanwhile, the bot lane, Uzi falls. JackeyLove 1 versus 2 right here with me, but he still managed to get it on the Tam Kent, and Ning, the last remaining member in the bottom lane.
Are you kidding me? IG want this
Oh
fight?
my god, it just doesn't stop, Raz. Xiaohu now under attack in the top lane. Petrifying Gaze will be flashed away from by Xiaohu.
This is just lane kingdom from every single lane on the side of Invictus Gaming. RNG are trying so hard to break this up, even bringing Xiaohu to the top side of the map to at least kill the tank, right? That should be easy. But suddenly, Baolan comes into the top lane with a teleport, and Cassio follows through. We didn't get to see Cassio for such a long time just because she was able to find Karsa and track him down. But while all of that nonsense was happening, guess who's going to be supporting JackeyLove at the bottom side of the map? It's Olaf. And Olaf, of course, does a lot of damage. They think that they can get this 2v2, or at least the 2v1, just because they only find JackeyLove at the last moment, so Uzi dies. This is just insane, and all of this is made possible just because Invictus Gaming's vision control allows no information to be presented to RNG. RNG doesn't know that Jackie Love is coming. RNG believe that maybe he's going mid lane to just support the wave since Cassio went top lane. Assumptions are coming through, and all of them are being debunked.
And at this point, you kind of have to make assumptions because of how fast this game is going. You don't have all the vision. There are changes on 8.4 coming into this one, of course. Like, there is less vision on the map. So you play so fast if you're IG, if you're RNG. When both of those things collide, you just have to make assumptions. And if it's right, congratulations. You probably just won the play.
We've seen some fast Invictus Gaming games. We've seen some really quick ones. This is possibly the fastest pace I've seen. And it's all on the fact that Ning was able to just nail down where Karsa is at all times, and they just committed to the fight consistently because the top side of the map is working so well for them.
The movements are just so fluid in from Invictus Gaming. They rotate all that pressure now towards that Rift Herald. They pick that one up, move towards the mid lane now as well, with Jackie Love setting up the wave. Rookie in from the side, Ning in the bush, spawning Rift Herald, looking to crack the last remaining outer turret.
All right, you know what? Uzi sent out that ulti to get the chip at the minion wave. There's still one minion left, but this is going to do a lot of damage, and it should just clear this one out. So hopefully just to defend the inner tower.
This one's gone for sure. Invictus Gaming may still look for another push as they clear out this minion wave.
Bottom lane minion wave is pretty large and it's grouping up. They're just committing to the mid lane wave when they had the option to go bottom.
Stepping up to this one, they'll take it down to around half, but they're still tanking using that Cassiopeia. They have the minion wave coming in, and they know they have the Shy to zone this one away. Hey, I don't even need this Ram. I'm going to send you the direction, and you're going to back away, RNG, because we're still pushing.
That's just stimulating. Oh, we could dive you, but it's going in the opposite direction. It's a foul play.
It is, but it is still another mid lane turret. 4 towers now to Invictus Gaming, leading this early game against RNG.
All right, this is possibly the one moment RNG can have in terms of taking a deep breath and figuring out where
First time we
at.
get to have a deep breath as well.
Fair. That's fair. So if you're in RNG, sure, the next dragon, I think they can disregard that. It's a good dragon. Cloud Dragon is fine, but at the pace in which they're losing out and bleeding out blood, and gold, I mean, they should just look towards which carry needs gold right now. It should be Gangplank. Gangplank has himself the Trinity Force, and as long as he's able to get towards the next item, could be a crit build, but in this case, should just be a Sterix Gauge, then they can play around the strength of GP, playing with the team, roaming with the team. They can get a proper triple barrel onto any of the frontliners, honestly, other than the Shy. If the Shy is not in the play, then they can look around forcing a fight off of that. That's their one hope, because otherwise, they're really lacking damage other than that. You would look towards this team and say, you know what, RNG has a pretty high damage composition, but just because of how far behind Karsa is currently, I don't see it.
And you just mentioned him, to talk more a little bit about the Shy, we just saw some of the stats come up. Almost first in every single metric. This guy has been an absolute monster in the top lane so far on the split, and also was not facing RNG the first time that these two teams met. In fact, there's a lot of differences in terms of rosters, especially for RNG. Zatai wasn't there, Karsa wasn't there, and Uzi wasn't there, so very different team coming into this game.
Yeah, specifically I'd say, you talked about the Shy. Invictus Gaming around Duke, in the first week specifically, were a lot slower. They were trying to find those team fights working for them. It's funny that they're going straight back to that, but even going back towards that tank top laner, they're still really fast in tempo. So I like the change in Invictus Gaming that regardless of what pick they have, they are very fast when they find a lead.
That is what makes them so dynamic. RNG into the top side have 4 members around this area, all pushing up with vision. Not ones to go down without fighting. Especially if they can find this pick onto Rookie as well, because Karsa has managed to sneak in with the mobility boots and the stealth. Xiaohu cutting off the escape route, in with the Tam Kench as well. Rookie is by his lonesome. Instant response to the teleport. Dodge away from Ning with Petrifying Gaze. In comes Uzi. He wants to finish off Rookie before there's any response from Invictus Gaming.
Strong play from RNG, and it was so good that at the side of Invictus Gaming, they decided to piece away from that. They didn't want to commit to the teleport. They decided to leave it be. The Shy didn't want to be any part of that. So that's one pick on the side of RNG, and they can stall for some time now that Baron's up.
Invictus Gaming now have to reconsolidate their resources, head up once again towards this Baron, which has just spawned. Jackie Love taking away this crab right here. So at least they have vision just in case RNG try anything sneaky. Uzi will get his hands on one of the first red buffs I think he's even seen this game. So just picked up 2 items currently, Raz.
For me, taking a look at the builds right now, Uzi was able to just get his Muramana. So he's at a pretty strong place for himself right now. He's the Blade of the Rune King. That's going to take some time to build for him. Actually, he's going straight into the armor penetration. I guess he just wants to be able to deal with the Shy and getting the poke off. So that's interesting. That's an interesting way to diverge. He's not going to be doing real damage for his team for a little bit. So it's going to be on Rise and the GP. Rise just finished up his own Seraph Embrace, so they're finally getting to some strong points in their itemizer.
Maybe the breaking points that it needs to try and fight back against Invictus Gaming, but we haven't really seen a full 5-on-5, even a 4 versus 4. Lots of this advantage that Invictus Gaming have gotten so far in this game have been off those skirmishes, have been pushing up, winning those lanes by themselves. Ning actually starting off the Baron right here. It's going to be a 2-man as Baolan pushes into the jungle. Nice scouting banana in from Uzi. Will spot out this Baron being started. Ming is pushing forwards along with Karsa. This will have to be a steal attempt, but he has the stealth on his side. He will have to go for the 50-50. In fact, Invictus Gaming are waiting, but this Gangplank ultimate is bringing it down. It will be secured out from Ning, and down goes Karsa.
Strong burst from Invictus Gaming. It was only going to be that Cinderella story if they can get the pick on it. If they can get the steal. It wasn't possible, even sending out the miasma, so Karsa had to back away first before he jumped in. That was just enough time for the smite to come through.
Xiaohu, while all this was happening, realizing they couldn't really contest in terms of a fight in top lane, will move to the bottom side, try and up down one of these outer turrets, because there's still yet to pick up a single turret RNG. On towards the top lane now. Rookie will actually be meeting Zatai in the top lane, who promptly backs away.
Yeah, if you're RNG, turrets are, I would say, step 5 in the 5-step scenario. I'm not even saying...
What are the 5 steps,
Yeah,
Raz?
I'd say the first step is just looking for any pick possible, any kill.
Okay.
Thankfully, they were able to get the first one onto Rookie. That's nice. They found somebody who was split pushing that shouldn't be. They were able to get the kill. It's going to be a lot harder to find that kind of same groove just because with Baron buff on top of Invictus Gaming, they're just going to group as a team. So they're going to have to go straight to step 2, which is just team fight and hope for the best. So right now, I'm looking at Zatai. If Zatai can get a proper ulti, maybe look to just dive straight through onto Jackie Love and completely back away. That would do the trick. It's just hard to say just because Rookie has his own ulti. So if they ever find a way diving straight to the back line, that's an easy answer from Invictus Gaming if they have the Cassio there.
Balan stepping in front of good old Cannondorf. He's going to be knocking down this tower, tanking up all the shots coming in from Uzi as well, trying with these Mystic shots. Eventually takes them out. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, the Shy is still pushing up to this tower. And the Shy, or rather Zatai, is trying to, just realized their names rhyme. Zatai is actually trying to clear out this minion wave using these barrels, but that's so much damage coming in from that Demolish.
What happened to Jackie Love's HP bar?
I don't know. I have no idea, Raz. I honestly wasn't watching at the time.
I'm only going to assume that Xiaohu was able to get a link onto him, so he got a lot of damage underneath. That's going to be really rough for Invictus Gaming. That's going to be a good opportunity for RNG if they take it.
They've knocked down the tower at least, and the bottom side is also dead. The 2-pronged assault is going well for IG. However, the damage from Uzi is starting to ramp up, and RNG look for the chance to go for this fight. Nice block from Baolan, and the Shy is looking to return some of the CC and get the rest of his team out alive. Or if someone overextends, turn onto them, because Invictus Gaming over this wall. For now, though, they just want to get out, damage control, and leave.
That's just really annoying on the side of RNG. They really can't do anything to track down Invictus Gaming. Braum ulti was still available too, so they were able to get past the miasma, the constant axis slowing them. They were able to get past even Jackie Love's E. Then you just have Braum E, the ulti. There's just so many ways to deny a team fight coming out from Invictus Gaming that RNG need a miracle run. They really do. It was a miracle enough to find 70% of Jackie Love's HP, but you're not going to have that presented to you next time unless if he just takes the turret. So this is going to be very rough for RNG. They need to be creative.
IG just plays so hard and fast as well. It means that once they have that advantage, they will be oppressive. They will push up into your towers, take them down if you're not looking. And RNG, very similar team in fact, but when you're on the back foot, really difficult to scrabble back up that hill. Invictus Gaming getting all the health back, buying some items, move back in towards the mid lane, look towards this inhibitor now, and they have this cannon minion once more, just slowly chipping away at this one. Shy always constantly looking out for these potential catch opportunities onto the tie, onto any of these carries. One inhibs down, moving towards the bottom lane. Jackie Love has a big amount of chunk damage, but Xiaohu will have to be gobbled and sent to safety, courtesy of Ming. The bottom lane, again, more zoning coming out from the Shy, preventing them from pushing up. This could even be a pick onto Uzi as well. Invictus Gaming get the first. They look towards Karsa and RNG. They have to back away.
When you're so far ahead that the base damage of Orin ulti just chunks down the Ezreal, you know you're in trouble. Flash was still available for Uzi, but he didn't expect it.
It's 25 minutes and IG, they're looking for the win. 5 versus 4, double Nexus turrets. Who cares? They're pushing up. The Shy is able to tank both of these at the same time. Rookie is zoning away Zatai. And the team is able to engage once more, taking down Xiaohu in the mid lane. The carries are dead. Karsa jumps into the backline. He tries to assassinate Jackie-Love, but the team says no. Zatai goes back to the spawn pad, and IG dominate RNG in game 1.
My God, talk about a body bag. They haven't zipped it up just yet, but they've placed it on the ground. Invictus Gaming are messing up RNG.
Not even 26 minutes, Raz. The typical game time, their average to split is 31 minutes. In fact, look towards RNG, 32 minutes as well for them. They're third currently in terms of game time, and that one was way ahead of the clock.
That was exhausting even for the audience. I feel like I just went through a workout.
Same, I'm sweating. I'm sweating bullets.
Karsa must feel, we're not going to see Kha'Zix anymore in this series. It's just not going to happen. There's a lot of love coming through on the stage right now. Here's the thing. Kha'Zix, fantastic skirmishing champion. I get to talk about it now just because in the game there's just a lot of nonsense happening.
Anytime.
You're going up against Olaf. You're going up against Skarner. All of those champions are going to be miles ahead of you in clear. And one thing that Kha'Zix is great at is ganking. Gank pressure, 1v1 pressure. It's going to be hard to 1v1 an Olaf if you don't get the first crack at him. And Olaf is much faster than you, so he can get to Scuttlecraft first, he can get to the lane first, he can get towards your camp first. If you're a slower clear and you're so focused on skirmishing and you can't do that well if you are behind in the pace, that's what Karsa had to experience this game. And because of his own experiences, it bled into the top lane. Zatai had to evacuate his own top lane. And it bled towards the mid lane. Xiaohu has eaten a lot of axes, and it's all started from Ning's pressure.
Exactly. On the flip side, you have to look towards Ning. I'm glad we got to see this early game, because I actually think back to your tier list, Raz, when you were rating Ning very highly. It's like, yes, he has these very strong laners, and this is like, well, it's very easy to be a strong jungler, isn't it? But we actually saw in this game how Ning is able to shut down someone like Karsa, who's one of the strongest junglers, not only in the LPL, but also the LMS.
Oh, yeah. You know, if you're a jungler and your role is simply to protect your perfect lanes, it's difficult to stand out. And I think Ning has stand out because consistently, he protects his lane. Consistently, he is that shield. My God, I felt like Karsa tried so hard to break that bubble, and every single time he met that bottom lane, he was like, "Actually, I need to run out of here. There's an Olaf chasing me."
Yeah, Ning completely shut him down on that low. Fantastic to see, and also the priority pick coming into that matchup. However, that's enough from us. We're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at game 1.
Thank you so much, guys, and holy cow, Frosk! You were not kidding. There were body bags. They were zipped up. There was a pile, and it was like a zombie apocalypse movie. But instead of the lone survivor, it was IG just having a dance party.
Yeah, normally, when we say "not even close," we mean it sarcastically.
Exactly.
Not even close.
That's the literal meaning, ladies and gentlemen. But let's actually get into what happened and how that game broke down, because it started from the beginning. It started from the pick and ban. IG came out swinging from step 1.
This was an interesting thing. As we were going through the draft, I was talking to Frostgird. Obviously, she's next to me. But every single part of the draft was predicted from us, and the reason that we were able to actually call that was because of IG's drafting. Like, we knew exactly what RNG were going to pick based off what IG did, which to me is the most curious part about this draft. You could tell where they were going with the AD carry role, pinching that for the 4th position, and even going for the Ornn. That was the one surprise, but you knew exactly what that meant with the Gangplank 5th. So very indicative from IG and just very strong drafting.
And a lot of that does come from the fact that there was such a high priority on Ryze. Yes, you don't want to give Ryze over into Rookie, and yes, Ryze has meant a lot for Xiaohu. It's one of his signature picks. It works very well with champions like the Jarvan, like the Kha'Zix, and you can then abuse a Cassiopeia matchup because she needs to be far forward, and that does open her for gank potential. But that's really what set up them to be torn apart in the draft phase and put Uzi on an unfavorable matchup.
Yeah, and even one step further than that, though, the Kha'Zix with the Ryze as their first rotation clearly cements the 2v2, the most important part of the map you would have to imagine between both of these teams. So in your first rotation, to pick that, open yourself up to a counterplay. The Cassiopeia doesn't necessarily need to be picked to be camped then. It was picked because the jungler was always going to pressure, and he can control the 1v1.
And again, red side is dominant so far in the LPL. It's dominant over in the EULCS playoffs, and it's because of the ability to use these counter picks so you can secure pushing priority into your solo lanes. And RNG lost that from red side, and IG got it from blue side. And that's what empowered the Olaf to be in Karsa's face. His lanes were always winning, so he's got nothing to fear.
And that we got to see Ning so omnipresent on the likes of that Olaf. You know, we were talking about the mid-jungle duo for RNG. It was Ning on that Olaf, not going for the mid jungle, but going for the jungle top, constantly partnering with the Shy, ganking and harassing all the time. And even though we saw some creative pathing from Karsa, Ning just had him on a heartbeat. Karsa went bottom, immediately Ning shadowed underneath and denied him.
It was honestly just so oppressive to watch. There was a point in the game where you feel like he's not doing his own jungle. We joked about a heat map, but legitimately think that it would have been cold in his own jungle, and it would have just been red hot in the enemy jungle. He never left it, and he can do that because of the draft.
We also talk about how RNG really haven't revolutionized anything for us. This is the same type of style that we see from every single time, whereas Invictus Gaming, you know, from 2017 to 2018, looked like a completely different team. This time around, they then took it one step further because it's not the shy on something like a Jace, because we were like, oh, he's probably going to play, you know, Gnar here because it's GP that's left open. Instead, he goes for the Ornn. He's still 30 CS up. He's still looking for crazy dives, and he still has the push priority. So Invictus Gaming continuing to reinvent themselves to expand their champion pools and to showcase that they can play multiple styles to the same effect.
And I mean, it's picking the Ornn, knowing that they want to carry in the top lane because they're forcing the Ezreal, camping the top lane, putting the Gangplank behind so the Ornn is empowered. If a tank is ahead, a tank will stay ahead. It's a very simple recipe, but they execute on it so cleanly that honestly you'd say they're unparalleled, right?
And even if RNG had been able to keep up with Invictus Gaming through the early and mid game, there's still no late game insurance policy because you were forced to go into the Ezreal again. Not Uzi's fault. The Caitlyn, the Tristana, the other priorities on the top side of the map pushed him onto that pick. He needed to take something safe, but then you don't have that hyper-scaling option. And so if that goes even, guess what? The Kog'Maw's just going to outrun you.
And this is where we look to Invictus Gaming being one of the oldest organizations in the LPL. It seems like this specific lineup of players and staff behind them came into this game with a very clear strategy and a very clear plan in dictating that draft, not taking any chances against the bottom lane of RNG, not taking any chances against any of the lanes of RNG.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I wrote in my notes before the game started, word for word. Early pressure dictates so much of the game state, the draft influence on lane priorities.
It's actually right there.
Is literally what I wrote.
It's actually right there.
And that is exactly what we saw in game number 1. Super simple, super well executed from IG. RNG with no response, but I think the response is very easily lane pressure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ning picked up man of match. That's who I would assume it would be, but it really should have gone to Mafa there behind them as their coach.
Well, you're actually correct. It did go to Ning taking the MVP in that game 1. Big surprise, Jazz
No way.
Surprise.
5-2 and 6. I have never seen a jungler that oppressive except for that one Lee Sin that ruined my promos.
It's 8.5. Guess what? Olaf got buff. If anyone's telling you that Olaf got nerfed, they're lying to your face. This champion is stronger than ever, and he abuses everyone if you give him pushing priority because he wants to invade, he wants to skirmish, he wants to kill you.
And the difference here as well can very simply change from the side of RNG away from something like the Kha'Zix, knowing full well that Kha'Zix can play the likes of the Skarner, and they can match that. Even going towards blue side, they can first pick something similar to the Olaf or the Olaf itself. There's so many options there for RNG that it makes you wonder why they committed so hard to the Kha'Zix.
And it was such a big tell that they were going to priority pick the Olaf, not only because Olaf is such a strong champion, it's not as oppressive in the LPL as, say, something like the LCK, but a Swain blue side ban, that should have been the first red flag that RNG needed to pull that from red side.
It very well could have been, but that was still a huge setup for Invictus Gaming. We talked about how early game is so important in dictating this matchup. RNG showed that they couldn't even last towards a late game. Is there any chance that we see RNG spring back to life in game 2?
Body bags.
Body bags.
Just so many body bags.
That's about it then. All right, well, we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. We'll go ahead and take a quick break while we get that game 2 ready for you. Don't go anywhere. Our match of the week will be right back.